Hello, all you beautiful people out there. What is going on? This is your friend Britta coming at you fast with another Paragon in-depth hero guide. And today we're going to be looking at Steel, the Superman strong guy made out of steel. Yeah, that guy. He's pretty good at being a tank. He's a pretty awesome tank. Today we're going to be talking about how to play him. He's very easy to play, but I still want to make a video on every character just to be complete. You guys know how I am. I gotta do the best I possibly can for you guys. And I'm not going to lie, on that note, it is kind of difficult making these videos. I mean, there's a lot of editing that goes beyond them. I'd have to take like a 45-minute to an hour long game and compress it down to under 10 minutes. So finding the parts that I find most important are pretty difficult to do. But with that said, let's go on with the video. So the main point of Steel is to be a tank and to protect your teammates, as you saw right there. Push them aside, body block them with the shield, and protect them at all costs. Now Steel is going to mainly be a support for somebody else in a lane because he does not do that much damage, and he's alright at clearing waves, but only later in the game when he maxes out his slide attack, which is best. So you're usually going to actually roam with Steel, as you saw me do right here. I went from left lane in the beginning of the match to middle lane, and we actually ended up killing that Sparrow using the variety of abilities that Steel has. Now, slotting him, you do want to go with the shield charge of his first. Then you want to go with the big ass shield that he puts down, the force field kind of shield looking thing. You then want to go with the body block shield, like his own personal shield. And then you want to upgrade your charge again, and then at level 5 you want to get your ultimate, and you want to focus on your charge and the big ass shield. I think it's the E for PC, and it is the circle for PS4. So you want to upgrade all that, and you actually want to not upgrade your punch all the way. You don't really need that. You want to upgrade your shield instead so that it maximizes the amount of armor when people come through. So as you see me right here, I follow the Sparrow from left lane all the way to middle, and I actually nuke her. If you guys saw my tactical nuke clip, you know what I talk about. I love quote-unquote nuking people with steel, and to prevent them from getting away, always make sure you put down your big-ass shield, which actually slows them and prevents them from getting away, and that actually helps us secure a two-piece against Sparrow and Twin Blast, which are both ADCs, so that's very important. Now here's another example of me ganking right lane this time and supporting my teammate who needed help getting the enemy away from the enemy tower. So I put down my shield preemptively because I think he's going to run back, but he actually goes towards the harvester. So I ended up coordinating him with my teammate. But yeah, let's talk about more about Steel. So your main objectives with Steel is to actually support your teammates in fights, make sure the other team doesn't get away, and keep them away from your teammates as well, especially if it's like a Murdoch versus your ADC or something like that. You want to keep them away. And 2, you want to help push out minions and also help pick up buffs such as red buff and blue buff, which you'll see later on in the game. Now, again, we're going to nuke the hell out of these people from behind, and we're gonna kill Sparrow this time. It's like deja vu. Keep killing this freaking Sparrow, man. Except Twin Blast does not die this time. He is smart. He remembers what happened last time, and he backs up. Now, that big ass shield is very useful for helping your teammates push up lanes. It protects them from the other enemies that are in the same lane, and it also prevents the enemy from killing your minions if you push it up far enough. So it's very useful. So always be throwing down that shield whenever pushing lanes and helping your teammates, but always make sure to look at your mana as well. And picking up blue buff is pretty much a priority for Steel if you guys don't have a Muriel on your team or another support that needs it more. The supports are usually the ones who need blue buff the most, and you can also penetrate the ceiling of that tunnel, by the way, with your ult, which is pretty fantastic. Now, we are building him tanky, of course. Building Steel any other way would just be pointless because he doesn't have too many damaging attacks. Most of his attacks are for defense and support, so you do want to make sure you use him as such and play him as a tank. Now, I have seen some people use him as a bruiser, but I think if you're going to be a bruiser, just go with Rampage instead. Now, back there with that twin, you saw an example of the combo that you want to use with Steel. You always want to ult in, and you want to use your shield charge. Preferably, you want to use your shield charge behind the enemy, so it pushes them towards your teammates so they can get the kill easier. Now you see me chase down that Sparrow, and here I commit a mistake. I like showing you guys my mistakes. So I go for the Grux, who was inevitably dead anyway, and I leave my teammate with the Murdoch to die. And the Murdoch's very low on health. If I were to protect my teammate, he possibly could have survived. but I made a mistake. So always go for the people that can kill your teammates first. Protect your teammates, focus on that. Don't worry about kills as Steel. You're going to have more assists anyways. So here I stick around with my teammates, and I make sure that after I nuked that Murdoch, which you also saw in the nuke clip if you saw it, that I would protect my teammate from the Sparrow, from the Twin, try everything I can, and try to pull the attention of at least a couple of those enemies. Now, I did pull the attention of Sevarog, but he's not going to do anything to me. He's also building as a tank, so he's not going to deal any damage. I leave that Fang with the Twin because he can get out, and he can deal damage if he can't get out, so I leave him with that, and I'm also low on health. So Steel is very tanky if you build him right, but he can also die, so keep that in mind when you are building him. Don't overstay your welcome, and you're actually going to see an example of me overstaying my welcome soon as well. But other than that, Steel is very, very easy to play. It's a very simple combo. Use your ult, use your shield charge to either push them into your teammates or push them away from your teammates as a defensive mechanism. And also, you can use your shield to either run away and run through because you get an armor from your shield, or push the enemy back. As you see me do right there, I actually push this Grux into the jungle, saving my teammate, and then just toying around with this Grux. This Grux will do no damage to me, but he's still swinging at me. This gives my teammates enough time to come back another round, and now repay the favor, and actually save me from that Grux, which I wasn't going to die anyway, but I was just killing time. And then go on to push out the lane with your teammates, now that your shield charge actually does a bit more damage and can really weaken those minions to push lanes faster. Now here's where I overextended my welcome. I was on their side of the map. I decided to not even, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. I really don't, but that is overstaying your welcome. 4 people all at once on Steel when he wasn't even at full health, so definitely be smart about it. Steel can most definitely die. Now here's an item that actually increases my cooldown reduction, so I get my abilities faster, and it also does a little bit of health and mana bonus as well, which is nice with Steel. You do want to build armor, health, and cooldown, and you guys can check that out in more detail in my Beast Builds video, of course, like always. So I noticed that I died very quick to that Murdoch and that Gideon, so I decided to build more energy armor, as you saw right there, and I went with Silver Spear to do a little bit more damage and give me some health regen. Besides, I already had enough armor, so I didn't need that lantern. And yeah, this is pretty much the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's very easy to play as Steel, which is why this video wasn't really too long. Here's are some final examples of how to play with him. Knock your enemies away from your ADCs. Defend them with your life. Literally put yourself in front of them. You are a giant-ass Steel shield, not a meat shield. And yeah, just nuke the core, and make sure you nuke the hell out of your enemies too whenever you're coming behind them as a surprise attack. Always start off with your ultimate in those situations, or ult when you're in a very crucial point in your team fight. And make sure to put down your big force field ass shield. I think it's literally called a force shield. I'm not exactly sure. And if you are about to die, or if you're body blocking somebody, pull out your personal shield, because it is very important to not die as well with Steel, because you don't want to be feeding them as a tank, but usually you wouldn't be. But put your life behind others. Make sure you protect others first. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, make sure y'all have a wonderful day.